Greetings and welcome. My name's Luke Smith, and I like to find answers in data, if you will. I love real estate. I love high traffic real estate, and I love figuring it out. Today, I'm going to do some reverse engineering for Slim Chickens. Slim Chickens is a restaurant brand that does drive-through restaurants. So this kind of food, Slim Chickens, we got some fried chicken, some toast, a soda, some fries, like a classic chicken kind of stuff in multiple different ways. They're interesting to me because they respond. I have high traffic retail property and I market these properties for tenants. And Slim Chickens keeps getting back to me. They say, no about this property because of this, and no for that about that property because of that. And they tell me why they're interested, or they say, yes, they like this property because what's the price, what's the terms. And so I would like to know more about Slim Chickens, and here's a research project. So one of the ways that I like to research a company like this is I like to go onto Crexy.com. So I've got Crexy.com pulled up, and I like to put the brand in there, Slim Chickens. Another way I like to do it is I like to go into Perplexity. If you guys ever use Perplexity.ai, it's a beautiful website. There's a lot of websites you can do the same thing on, but this is one that I like to use. And this is December 29th, 2025, the last couple of days of 2025. Give it a week or two, and there's probably some other website that works better. But today's environment, I like Perplexity. What is the average unit sales for Slim Chickens? And I like to look that up because it gives, in my point of view, a ranking. This is like, where are they at in the marketplace? This allows me to understand what kind of rents they can pay, what kind of buildings they can take on. When we look at the Crexy website here pretty soon, we'll look at credit ratings, what kind of credit ratings prominent brokers are assigning to them, and what the market sees them trading at, right? So this is just all these different pieces of data come together and paint the story from how I like to see it. You guys can look at them different, but so this is saying 3.8 million in average unit volume. The most common figure cited in recent analysis is around 3.8 million. So they're coming off of different items. One of the reasons I like Perplexity is they're quoting things. They're quoting the franchise disclosure documents, and I can go, it has the sources, and you can pull up the sources of where this is coming from. They'll quote news articles, they'll quote lots of different things and these different brands. It's up to your interpretation to see what it really, they might say, oh, this is in the top units or the top 25% units or the have something like that. You don't want the top 25. You want the average of the whole brand, because if you charge these guys too much rent, bankers won't touch them. They won't want to work with them about having too much rent to sales kinds of ratios. So you want them to be rent to sales ratios that make sense. Even if they think they can pay the rent, it's probably, the bankers probably, I hate to say it, but they probably know best because they've had a lot of restaurants go belly up on them over time. They're used to the ratios where they probably go belly up the most, and they come up with these ratios. So 3.8 million is going to give us a number that's high enough that we can charge all kinds of whatever the market is for that property rent, basically. We could be charging 100,000 a year rent. We could be charging, they could still pay 200 or maybe 300,000 a year in rent. They're not gonna, but they have the horsepower to be able to pay that kind of rent. So we'll go look at Crexy and see what kind of rents they are paying. Okay, so now I'm to the Crexy website that I pulled up, and I got Slim Chickens in the search. I typed in Slim Chickens, and we got some Slim Chickens restaurants. I got this sorted by relevance right now. Hopefully it doesn't bounce around as I click through these. Let's see if we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Slim Chickens. So it's 35 come up, but these others are all like probably next to or down the street, or Slim Chickens goes here or something like that in their sales pitch. So sorted by relevance, it's coming up with the ones that are actually Slim Chickens buildings. So we'll look at each one of these. And what I'm curious to see is, because I'm a land dealer and I'm always trying to figure out what to do with land, is I would like to see where these properties are coming from. Did they come from land turning into building? Did somebody build this thing for them? Are they building them? Is somebody vending in the land and these guys are building on it and then they're taking it to the market later? See if we can figure out the story by looking at the sales pitches of the ones that are listed in today's market. To me, is a great place to learn, because that's what's happening in today's market right now. It's not something that happened 10 years ago. We're talking about what's happening in today's market. So Slim Chickens has, we'll see in the sales pitch, someone will say would be about like a couple hundred locations that they have open right now. And they have a bunch of them under contract, and they're working on a bunch of development agreements and different ways to bring more of them into the marketplace. So I think Slim Chickens is growing in a big way, and they've got an appetite to eat up a lot more real estate. So I think it's a good one to know. This is one of many names. This is just the one that I'm looking at today. Okay, so let's jump into it. We got Florence, Alabama coming up, and Justin Zahan. Okay, so this is the broker on the property. Justin is quite the accomplished broker here. He's a great one to talk to if you've got properties like this guy. If I had built this thing and it were up and running and paying rent and Justin was on the board, I wouldn't hesitate calling Justin to go sell this thing. I don't get any kickbacks or anything from him. It's helpful. He's a great one to work with. It looks like his listings are all in the eastern half of the United States for some reason. He's got $95 million worth of these things listed, some Freddies, here's Slim Chickens. I like to look at him, see if he's got a whole bunch of Slim Chickens. If he's selling a whole bunch of Slim Chickens, he might be my guy to go sell Slim Chickens if I created some, or he's got a whole bunch of them in the solds. This guy has solds up the wazoo. 447 million sold, and most of these are unpriced. They don't even count towards that. About $500 million worth of stuff he's sold on here. This is covering the whole United States. He's got so many listings here, it's going to take me too long to find Slim Chickens. I'm not going to do it on this video, but there's the idea. So let's look at his offering memorandum. Let's look at his rent. So 195,000 rent, NOI, net operating income. So the rent that you basically get if you bought this thing after the fees are paid, if there's any on here, is $195,000. They're asking $3 million for this, 0 days on market. So it just got listed, and he's pricing it at a 6.5 cap. So 6.5 cap, average QSR kinds of number. I think they might be a little more than that, but he's starting at 6.5. He's probably trying to get 6 3/4 or something like that, right? By the time he gets there, absolute triple net. So to me, if we look at the details on here, this is probably fee simple. Yeah, building and land, fee simple. So if it was a ground lease and I had owned the land and Slim Chickens came along and said, I'll build it and pay you rent, that would be a ground lease, and they would own the improvements to the property if we structured it that way. And in this case, whoever built the thing owned the land, probably owned it all together. They probably bought the land, built the building, and see if we can figure out if they bought the land and built the building and did a sale lease back, or if they built the building for Slim Chickens and now they're selling it off. We could probably figure that out when this lease started, if it starts on sale. Rent bumps 7.5% every 5 years. Market normals are more like 10% every 5 years. To me, this sounds like it might be a sale leaseback. Remaining term 18 years. Year built 2023. So maybe somebody built it, transacted it, and now they're reselling it later. The size of the property is 0.93 acres. This is a 2023. Another way I like to look these up is to go see what they paid for the property. This is Alabama. We might be able to figure out what they paid for the property. So I'm pulling this up, and Property Radar is a website that I like to use because you can look at historical transactions, and I've used them a lot for all kinds of real estate trades, and I'm just used to and familiar with this data set. I've bought 1,000+ properties using data off of here. Buy them at a good price, go sell them for more, keep the spread, go back, do it again. Good data, a bunch of good stuff in Property Radar. Just take it out of county records. Okay, so here's our property. This looks like it's going to be messy, like a split. I don't think we're going to get clean numbers on this one. Yeah, we're not going to get clean numbers. How much like somebody bought the land before and then turned it into a Slim Chicken. So somebody got like the whole development and made a couple things here. This is not going to be a good example of how did I get this. Maybe I clicked on a couple of his while I was scrolling through. Somewhere along the way, some of these properties, I think we'll be able to see how much somebody bought the land for, like what kind of costs of land for these 1 acre high traffic kind of properties. Let's look at Street View. I like to look at Street View and on these properties. What I'm looking for in Street View is who's the neighbors? What kind of street is this on? I want to get the attributes of this property, because if I have an awesome property that I think fits Slim Chickens, I want to know what fits Slim Chickens to be able to pitch it to them in the future and say, hey, let's put another Slim Chickens here. So the neighbor, Taco Bell. So this is probably the split off the property. Highway 55. Those guys went out of business. So it is Slim Chickens next to a Taco Bell. There's a McDonald's across the street. And those are Dutch Brothers. That's probably a newer one. Just down the street, maybe a car wash or something. Okay, so a couple new developments along here. Dutch Brothers, Slim Chickens, Taco Bell. Somebody is bringing some brands to the area. This road, it's 2 lanes on either side with turning lanes and a center lane. Can drive across the middle, but they don't have direct access. They didn't get direct access onto the main road. They're going off the side to get in there, probably through that side too, I'm guessing. So there's some little bits of info about the property. So there's our Dutch Brothers, Slim Chickens, Taco Bell, McDonald's across the street. They're not like in front of a Walmart or a grocery store or something like that. The massive traffic driver. What's behind here? There's a church behind the McDonald's. They're just on the road here. So let's see if what traffic is doing. Okay, so in front, it's 10 or 11,000 is like on either side, maybe 11,000 on either side, maybe 22, let's say 21, kind of 21,000 cars a day going by, but they're on a little corner. The side street's like maybe 1,000 cars going to the neighborhood behind it. So just over 20,000 cars a day going by in front of the property. Let's look at demographics. This website's got some demographics information, 6,000 people in a mile, 63,000 income, 43 median age, a little bit on the older side for America average, just by a hair. Okay, so that doesn't really mean anything because we only looked at one property. So now if we go look at a couple more of these Slim Chickens, we can start to get a picture. We start to create a persona. We can start to understand what kind of properties Slim Chickens, the newer ones that are happening on. Slim Chickens is a pretty new brand, so they're basically all new. They're pretty close to new, but let's look at the next one. So the next one is different brokers, Cameron Irons and Sharon Browning. I don't know these people. Let's take a look at their history on here. 14 million sold. He's got some, oh, these are for lease. We'll just, yeah, for sale. He's got DaVita and some, whatever he can sell. And over here, it's a bunch of things. It's not like all QSR drive-thrus right up this alley. He's got a potpourri of different stuff for sale. Maybe that's why I don't know. So we can look at the offering memorandum. We can look at the square footage. We can look at the sales. 2.6 million. They're asking for this one. 0.91 acres. So that last one was 0.9 something acres. This one's 0.9 something acres. Building size 2,700 square foot. I think that last one was about the same size. NOI 176. I think this is just a hair less rent. Cap rate 6.6.7. That doesn't make sense. I think it's 6.7 maybe, or 6.67. I don't know. It's almost the same thing. Typo. So there's some pictures of it. Tulsa, Oklahoma, talking about the menu and locations. Here we go. 204 as of April 17th, 2024. So they're just over 200 locations. I bet you they've got more by now. That was like over a year ago. So it's probably a good deal more than 2,000 or 204. Founded in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And they're talking up the brand and the company and the people. Okay. So 176 rent, 176, this is 6.67 cap. Okay. So the other one was asking 6.5 and it's triple net. If we look at the details, it's probably fee simple. If you buy it, you own the building and the land. This one's been on the market for almost a year or something. Slim Chickens, 2,700 square foot, single tenancy, main and term 10 years. This one's got a little bit less timeline on there. 1% annual rent increases. Okay, let's look at street view on this. Okay, we're going to look at the street view of this. Now on the street view, again, I'm looking at the traffic. Make sure we're in the right spot. Here's Slim Chickens. So 2 lanes going either way. Turning lane in the middle. Looks like they're on a corner or a shared driveway at least to get in there. And another shared driveway on this side to get in there. See if we can get a better view of this thing. See if we see neighbors. Like, who are the neighbors here? I don't see any obvious. DaVita is a brand, but I don't see any, well, Burger King's down the street. I don't see any other obvious QSRs right here. Let's see if we can look at historically. I forgot to do this on the previous one. But what did the property come from historically? So if we go back into Street View, it looks like it was some land for sale by some brokers. There's their phone number. I could call them and ask questions about the terms and stuff if I wanted to. But here's Slim Chickens. So it went from vacant land to Slim Chickens. This was between 19 and 21. So let's take a look at this property, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's jump into, see if we can pull it up and see what they paid for the property if somebody bought it. 81st Street. See if there's a transaction of just that property right before. Make it easy. We don't have to do a whole lot of detective work. So we can see what other people are selling their properties to Slim Chickens for by doing this kind of detective work. And it's running. While that's running, let's go over here and let's look up this same location. See if we can see some traffic. Okay, so there's the DaVita Bank of Oklahoma across the street. Freedom Fund USA, that's like the local credit union, bank, credit union, Slim Chickens, apartments, I'm thinking, or old people. Burger King. So it's not, there's Sonic, there's some QSR, but it's not like full on QSR-ness here. More apartments, condos, multifamily duplexes and things. So it's higher density, some of the housing that is going on here, but it's not, there's still a lot of green in between some other retail corridors in the area. Okay, so let's see, this particular Slim Chicken, I forgot to do this on the previous one. Oh, this one's dragging 32 percentile. Maybe that's why this one's still on the market for a while. The shops around here, the Quick Trip gas station was a couple doors over. They're doing pretty well. The Walmart is zero point 0.2 miles away. They're 15%, 45,000 at a Walmart. That's probably like the Walmart grocery store. It's probably not the real Walmart. Burger King, 28,000. It's almost 1,000 people a day going to the Burger King. It's pretty good Burger King numbers. It's 73 percentile Burger King. Subway, it's probably been there forever. 76 percentile Subway. Subway is cruising along. And these banks and DaVita and stuff are all dragging. Or this one, Everest Bank, might be doing okay. I don't know. I don't think the traffic matters so much on banks. A good bank gets lots of deposits, no traffic. Traffic doesn't matter. Okay, so let's go back. Let's look at this. Let's look at the offering memorandum. I think we were looking at it before, but this one's been on the market for a bit. So maybe it's been on the market for a bit because this isn't the top performing kind of shop to model. Let's see what the next one is. This one is in Jenks, Oklahoma. Grant Stewart. I don't know this broker. 6 million sold. He's got is that a Sonic maybe? Bunch of random stuff up for sale. Closed transactions. It's got a Walmart. Good job, dude. And some other random, whatever you can get a listing on. Former Pizza Hut. Academy Sports. It's got Academy Sports. Heck yeah. It's got some nice transactions in there. Okay. It's got the Slim Chickens. Let's take a look at Street View. Let's see what this thing, what it looks like, what it used to be, what the neighborhood looks like. Okay, so we got a street out front. Oh, this looks podunk. So we got one lane going either direction. I guess there's a Sonic over here. And Sonic's willing to go to some smaller markets. I don't know who that neighbor is. There's a McDonald's down the street and an Arby's, Taco Bell. So we got some brands around here. Heck yeah, we got a turning lane and looks like fresh curves. This looks like a newer building. What is going on here? Occupancy 100%. So the street view looks vacant, but it says they're in there. So maybe it went from vacant. Lease term 20 years. When did the lease start? NOI 185. So they're getting 185 rent on this one. Year built 2023. Year rented 2020, renovated 2025. So there's a gap here. So they built the building in 23 and then sounds like they got Slim Chickens in there in 25. Occupancy date. Okay, October 31st. So they moved in on Halloween of 2025. So that's just, I'm in December. So they've been in there 2 months or something. How long has it been on the market? Like a month and a half. So this is this is fresh one. So let's take a look at the street view. Let's go back to the street view. So this was a vacant building. This was a vacant building and it was built in 23. Vacant building, sign available. Let's go back to 20. What's before 22? Yeah, it's a piece of land. If we go back 27, 2011, 2021, it's land. 2022, it's land. 2025, it's building. What the heck? Somebody build a building here with nobody to go in it? Or did they? Maybe I can get some different age shots on this thing. It's all vacant building. Why would you do that? Okay, I don't understand what's going on here. I can usually figure it out by looking at the data, but somebody built this and then they didn't use it. And it's got some sign like they're going to put something in here and they just never happened or they never got all the way open. There's probably more to this story. But these broker people found a tenant for it. Good job. They got Slim Chickens. Some chickens took it up. Let's take a look at this building. Slim Chickens went after this. What's the size? 36, 30. So the other ones are 28, 27. This one's 3,666. This is a little bit bigger than the other ones they've been taking on, but they did a 20-year lease. They signed for 20 years and they're paying 185 and they're trying to sell it for a 6.85 cap rate. So in the upper sixes. And the land is half the size of the other ones. The other ones we've looked at so far, they've been on 1 acre properties. This one's on 0.48 acres. Ground lease, no. Sale conditions, sale for lease back. Ooh, sale for lease back. Okay, so Slim Chickens people probably bought this thing. So we could probably see a transaction price where they bought it and now they made up this lease and now they're selling it back into the market to recapitalize so they can go buy the next one. Is my take, my understanding. Let's see if this comes up. So let's get rid of that last one. See if we can find transactional history on this Jenks, Oklahoma deal. Maybe we can see what they bought it for and what they're trying to do sale leaseback at. Get a more understanding of what's going on here. Roy's Chicken. Is that what it said? Roy's, yeah, I did see that. Roy's Chicken. It like flashed for a second. Roy's Chicken. So somebody tried to make Roy's Chicken, whatever that is, and it didn't work. 1.9 purchase price in April of 25. So there it is. Slim Chickens operators or franchisees, whoever this is, AP Restaurant Group, probably a franchisee, bought this for 1.9 and they set up shop and now they're trying to sell it back into the markets for 2.7. That sounds good. Like, recapitalize, get a new location. We can operate out of here, put more money in our pocket to go take on more locations and grow like crazy. Good job, guys. That's a creative transaction. That's good. Good operators. They pull that off. They probably will. Okay, so the next one, Slim Chickens in Kyle, Texas. Let's take a look at this. This was backfilling an old restaurant, buying it, backfilling it, doing a sale leaseback. We've seen them build these things out and we'll keep learning, but I don't see any ground leases. This looks like new apartments in the back. I'm guessing somebody built new apartments in the back, had some land, and here you go, Slim Chickens. Slim Chickens probably bought the land and sold it, and now they're doing a sale leaseback. Let's take a look at what we can figure out here. 215,000 NOI. Cap rate 5.75. Oh, yeah, you're dreaming. So the other ones in the market have been doing sixes, upper sixes. These guys are doing 5.75. Maybe this is one heck of a location compared to the others. The other ones didn't seem to be super awesome business locations. I'll find my Slim Chickens. It's probably this land here, and there's probably apartments went in back here. So let's see if we build off of this Burger King. Let's see what kind of stuff's happening in the area. So if we start looking at cell phone data of who's got the visitors in the areas, ExxonMobil's killing it, 99 percentile. Quick Trip, 11 percentile. How do you get ExxonMobil doing awesome, Quick Trip not doing so well next to each other? They both have about 35,000 customers a day, so they're getting about the same. But in the network of these shops, it's not a good Quick Trip, but it's a good ExxonMobil. Quality Inn, and then the who goes here just drops right off. Let's try. It's gas station. Nobody else has the customers. So if we go half a mile, Home Depot's got 60,000 customers. Costco Gas, Quick Trip, Exxon, Home Depot Rental, Pollo. There's a chicken shop near here doing 17,000 customers a month. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're copying them. Numbers are all over the place here. It's not like everybody's shooting out the lights. Okay, so and this is Texas, so I'm not even going to bother looking up the costs of it here. Let's get rid of this one. So we're on Kyle, Texas, 3.7 million. Let's take a look at this. So it's cap rate 575. We're already looking at that. Let's look at details. 20-year term, 20-year lease term, absolute triple net, fee simple. So you're going to own the building and the land. Rent bump, 7.5% every 5 years. The other one that we're doing that had 7.5% every 5 years, I think that was a sale leaseback because the tenants are watering down the terms in their favor over time. Year built 2025, NOI 215,000. This is a higher rent. So the higher rent they can afford to pay, the more money they can put in their pocket today to go do this on the next one by doing a sale leaseback. So this rent is probably juiced up compared to what I could negotiate on a deal like this if it was my building or my land, and that juices up the asking price is what I'm thinking. Just the feeling in the back of my neck here looking at this. Franchisee credit rating, not corporate, 2,800 square feet. So just shy of 3,000. That one that they converted was 36. Some of the ones that were built recently are 27, 28. This is 28. So they're doing that kind of size. What's the size of land? Just a 1 acre property. Most of them have been about an acre, except for that one that was a conversion that was a half an acre. Brand new 20-year lease upon close of escrow. Yep, there you go. So it's going to be a sale leaseback. New property secured by a newly signed 20-year lease. So they'll start the lease with you. So if you bought the property, you'll be like, okay, the lease has started. You're the banker. You'll recapitalize these guys to go do it again. And everybody wins, right? As long as they stay in business. So it's all looking cool. Let's look at the next one. So that was Kyle, Texas. Lexana, Kansas. Let's check this one out. I'm going to feed this in and start pulling up some properties if I can. Okay, Slim Chickens right here. Oh, let's do traffic. Keep forgetting to check with traffic. So this one, 13, 14, so 20, 7,000 cars a day going by, and they got a corner axis here with 1,000-ish cars going on the side street. So it's all about the 20 something right in front of them. So 20 something thousand cars a day. So far, the ones we've looked up have been at 20 something thousand. So let's see if we can figure out the ownership of this one. So Shell Oil. Ooh, this was a gas station, Corinth, station 87. Let's see here. What is going on? Let's look at Street View. This looks like it was Shell gas station. Okay, so there's our chicken shop. Let's get out to the road. Oh, there we go. 2015, it was Shell gas station. 2016, I got bulldozed. 2017, it's a chicken shop. 2023, they need to clip the trees back so you can see the sign. But when they built it, you could see the signs and no little bushes. Now the bushes are bigger, a lot bigger bushes. Okay, so Slim Chickens, the road, 2 lanes in either direction. We got a median things. You can't drive straight across, but they've got a corner over here so you can drive straight across at the corner. They don't have any driveway right in the front. They probably got something else behind them, I'm guessing. Is that an office? It's not like a Walmart or anything behind them. It's just, you see any other QSRs along here? So far, I'm not seeing any. This is who they go next to, right? Like the obvious relationship. Like they always go next to a Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's always builds right across the street, or Chick-fil-A is always right across the street, or some story like that. I don't see that story. These guys seem to be more creative about their sites. Is that, I thought it was snow. That's rocks. Okay, so let's look at the terms on this. A 7% cap rate. This is the highest cap rate we've seen so far. The broker on this one, Glenn Kanofsky. This guy's a killer. This guy's a salesman of all salesmen. He sells the heck out of these things. He's going to have some crazy numbers, how much he's sold. We go click on him. He's going to know his numbers. He's trying to get a 7 cap out of this. That's probably pretty much like what he gets. Sold, $500 million sold, and listed, $1 billion listed. It says $1 billion listed probably because he's got a bunch of, yeah, he's got undisclosed, like, whole bunch of, he didn't just sell one Red Lobster, he sold a whole portfolio of Red Lobster. Why not? Probably all in the same transaction. Go Glenn. And then he's got a bunch of undisclosed. You could spend all day going through his old transactions. The guy's got history. He's doing deals. He's going to know his numbers. It says 500,000 sold, but those are only the ones he's sharing the price on. It looks like he's based out of New York. So he's got this up for sale and he thinks it's a 7 cap. That's probably more of what really happens in the market than some of these others that have been sitting there trying to get 5 something or low 6s or whatever. So 217,000 rents, what he's trying to get. Lease term is a weird number, 21, remaining 9 something. So this isn't fresh out of the gate. This one's been collecting rent for a while after it was the Shell gas station, 2015, 16, 17. We're just looking at. Now somebody is getting tired of owning it and trying to pass it back off in the markets for 3.1 million. 2,900 square feet. The land is just hair shy of 1 acre. It's the same 1 acre size. 1 acre, 1 acre, 1 acre. Rent bumps 1% annually. There you go. I think I'd rather have 10% every 5 years, but they negotiated 1% annually. It was probably, they got corporate guarantee. So they got the big boys here behind it, backing it. 1% annually was probably like sale leaseback in the past. Okay, let's look at the next one. So that was Kansas. This next one is Dothan, Alabama. Let's see what we can learn from this one. I'm still looking for ground leases. I haven't seen any ground leases yet. Lots of times when I take these different brands apart, I'm doing it with other people I work with, and we're finding ground leases and that we can copy and create more ground leases. We can turn land into ground leases or obvious build-to-suit deals. Like they're doing build-to-suit deals like this and that. But these guys seem to be very astute. They're buying the land, they're buying the building, they're fixing it up, they're putting it back into the market as a sale leaseback, recapitalizing to go do more and more of them. As they build their nest egg, they can first say do 1 and then they'll do 2 at a time. And then they'll be doing a half dozen at a time eventually as they keep doing it that way. Like that building the one picked up and just got more cash in their pocket than it took them to go put the thing together. And they'll collect business revenue off of operating the Slim Chickens, like best of all worlds, right? Okay, so this one, Dothan, Alabama. Slim Chickens 20-year triple net favorable 2% annual increases. Okay, so the other one we just looked at was 1% annual increase. The others were 7.5% every 5 years. This was 2% annual. I like 2% annual better than 10% every 5 years because 2% annual compounds. This is pretty creative. 2025 construction. So this is a nice new one. It's absolute sale leaseback. Okay, so the guys bought it and they figured it out and they're doing a leaseback. So we could probably go look up how much they paid for the property or whatever this was before it turned into Slim Chickens. Let's see if we can look this one up. This one's Alabama instead of Texas, where it's easier to look up previous transactions. $180,000 a year, 6.25 cap. So they're shooting for the moon price wise. They'd probably take their time on selling it, trying to get the best price. They got Eddie Green, broker here for Marcus and Millichap. Let's see if he's got some history. 17 million sold, active listing. He's got Slim Chickens. He's got some storage, Dollar General, Wingstop, Dollar General, some mobile home park stuff. And then on the sold, he's got Popeyes, Chili's, Taco Bell. He's doing some QSRs, grocery store, Dollar Generals, Amazon, Arby's. He's got, oh, there's another Slim Chickens. He sold Madison, Alabama. That's probably how he got this one. Is he sold Slim Chickens in front of Publix in the past in Alabama. And he sold, oh, it was a Chipotle. He sold a Chipotle in Alabama. So he's focusing in on Alabama mainly, a little bit of Louisiana. Good job, Eddie. Okay, so see if we learn anything off this flyer. Nah, that's a horrible flyer. You got to request info. Okay, let's look up the location. Let's look up Street View first. Let me try to get this thing to do its thing while we look at Street View. It's not loading. Well, something up with this address. Like this, the address formatting's not making it easy. I'm not going to go dig in while we're on video call or video while we're recording. Let's find the next one. So that was Dothan. This is Liberty, Missouri. Glenn Kanofsky. Here we go. It's the first broker that's got two of them on the board that I've seen. He's also got this with Matthew and Joey. 3.1 million. They're asking for this. Been on the market 271 days. So maybe he doesn't know his numbers. This was 7 cap rate. He's asking. This is a higher price. Why does it take so long to sell this? NOI 219. Occupancy 100%. Year built 2017. So it's 1.14 acres. This is a little bit bigger than the other ones, right around 1 acre. Why is this one taking so long to sell? Let's take a look at the offering memorandum. Take a look at the street view. Let's take a look at everything. It looks single tenant. Built 2017, fee simple, so you get the building and the land. The rent's going up 1.25% every year. Getting that, you're getting monthly rent almost up to 20 grand. You're starting at 18, and you're gonna later on it works up to 20 grand a month. That would be an amazing rent to get. That would be beautiful if I owned that thing. Collect almost 20 grand a month in rent. Triple net, 1.25% a year increases in rent. So here's some food. Here's a picture of the shop or one like it. There's a bunch of roofs around here. Whole sales pitch going off. Let's look at Street View. Academy Sports, Petco. Here's the Slim Chickens. Fresh tenders, hot wings, house sauces. Let's see, I want to get out to a street. Maybe this street will work. Okay, let's see if we got some history. 2013 or something it said. 2016 it's dirt. 2018 it's a shop. So they did a full-on shop here. This is probably going to be a massive development, split off one's probably not going to be so easy to look up. Marriott, look up the price on this one. Traffic looks really lame here, but there's shopping all over the place, so it's probably being fed by something else. Like maybe not there, but oh, there's McAllister's. Got McAllister's, Orange Therapy, Fancy Grocery. So this is probably the actual traffic. I don't know. Seems like it's back in there. Maybe the freeway up here, looking at it. Maybe that's why it's still for sale, because what do you do with it if they move out? You got a restaurant that's not up in front and center in the traffic. Okay, so next one, Tallahassee, Florida. Tenancy vacant, 3,700 square foot. Something's different about this one. It's Slim Chickens, but Slim Chickens moved out. Jesse Spencer. He's got a Walgreens or something over here. He doesn't have a whole bunch of QSR stuff for sale or sold, but he's got this one. He's asking $2.5 million. Sounds really high for a vacant shop like this. So I think this is where it gets interesting. This isn't what I was making the video about, but this property is interesting. It's a vacant drive-through shop. It looks like it was set up for Slim Chickens. And Slim Chickens left the building, right? So now they're stuck with a vacant building and they've got it up for sale. They're probably paying some crazy taxes and upkeep and everything else. Maybe Slim Chickens is still paying them. I doubt it. Or else they'd be bragging about that. And franchisee probably went out of business or something, or disappeared, or I don't know. And so they've got the building, or maybe the person's selling it, because all the different ones that we've had so far, that we've looked at so far, it's been like a sale leaseback kind of scenario. So maybe the franchisee owns it and they're trying to sell it instead of operating and selling, doing sale leaseback. Like maybe it's not working for them or something. Maybe they lost their manager. Maybe it's something local. Maybe I don't know, got the mayor's daughter pregnant or something, had to skip town, whatever. But some story there is missing. And let's see if we can learn some more about this. I wanted to see if we get slim chickens. Okay, I got the slim chickens. So we can see like rankings of slim chickens before they went out of business. So when is this? This is September. I'm not sure when they went out of business. This is quoting September number. It's like they're still getting visitors in September, like 16, 17,000 customers a month. And who knows if this data is super accurate or not. You get a bunch of different data sets. None of them seem to drop off and disappear anywhere along here. All the different data sets of where cell phone traffic's coming from. Okay, so we got vacant slim chickens. $2.5 million. Who could go in this building? This is where it gets fun. I didn't look for neighbors, but I would say McAllister's Deli would fit in here really well. Dave's Hot Chicken would fit in here really well. We're in Tallahassee, so maybe not El Pollo Loco and those kinds of brands, but maybe Pollo Tropical and other chicken shops. Maybe they have restrictions that say, no, we're not doing other chicken shops taking up our Slim Chickens restaurant. But it looks like this was a 50 percentile Slim Chickens before they went out of business. And maybe other franchisees of Slim Chickens could come in and take it. Maybe this franchisee has the area and there's like, no one else is coming into my area. Or some story like that. We could call the broker, start asking questions. Did you go market it to the other Slim Chickens franchisees? We just looked at a half dozen properties, then it said who the franchisees were, I think, in a lot of those. I didn't really point them out in this video, but I think I saw some names of the franchisees go by. One of them said corporate. Some of the others said this name and that name. When we looked at prices, we saw the names of and the contact information of the franchisees that were operating in these. It looks like the ones that operate these are the ones that buy them and make them happen. So even if we went back to other ones operating in the region, we could see who used to own it and get the contact information off of there, brought into Slim Chickens, and then they let it go into the markets as a sale leaseback. They're still operating there, but they used to own the property and then now they don't. Somebody else owns it. They got cash to go work on the next one. So we could look up who those people are. We just saw a half dozen different brokers that we could call and talk to that were dealing with the sale leasebacks of these properties. Their client is going to be the one that operates these things, that bought it, set it up, got it operating, still operating it, sale leaseback in the market. We could say, hey, Mr. Broker guy, you sell lots of these things. I see your tenant's doing it. And if you want to sell another one, I got a shop for them. And maybe you could set them up or get me going here. I'll bring it back to you and you go sell it triple net in the market style. I want to get it back into the markets. And I could do a deal that way. There's a lot of ways to do it. The structuring of taking down the $2.5 million Slim Chickens to go put one of those other brands in there is a different story. It's not in the scope of this video. If you want to get into that, I've got a link in the description of this video at the bottom. In the description, it'll take you back to my free community on the internet where we talk a lot about high traffic retail properties. We go back and forth. And if you go down that rabbit hole far enough, there's a bunch of videos there. The more you watch, the more they get served up style, right? And you learn different info sessions I've made, teaching things I've made over time. And it pre-qualifies you to get into working with me on these kinds of properties. I'll hold your hand through dealing one of these and going out, finding a new tenant, bringing a new tenant into the property and help you with deposits and proof of funds and paperwork and structuring and story and mentoring and everything else to go bring a new tenant into this thing, get the tenant to go. I'll help you negotiate it and everything. And then we go set it into the markets later on with a new tenant, like one of these other tenants I just mentioned. There's a bunch of others that I'm not thinking of right off the top of my head, but I think would fit this building quite well that could pay more rent than the cap rates take to get it to float at these markets. There's not so many at this $2.5 million price, but there's some. And we learn about those kinds of tenants by taking properties like these Slim Chickens apart. And so maybe in the future, it's not this building, but it's a different one. Be like, oh, Slim Chickens could go there. I watched Luke Smith's video. We learned this and we learned that. And I did my own research and I learned even more. heck yeah, feel free to throw bits and tidbits in the comments of what else I should be looking at and covering in these. Feel free to call me out. I love that. I learn that way too. You guys know a lot more about this than I do. The collective, everybody out there watching, listening, learning, right? So there's our Slim Chickens. I like these vacant buildings because it's already built. We looked at one before that was converted from Jim's Chicken or something to Slim's Chicken, and you could see the numbers on that. That's in the marketplace right now. You can go create your own numbers going forward. They got it for, what was it, 1.5 or 1.7, and they're trying to go reverse or sale lease back for 2.5 or 2.8 or something like that. I forget the numbers off the top of my head, but it was 1 something to 2 something that they were trying to do. And there are other brands that could do it from 2 something to 3 something or more. But the higher you go in numbers, the less those brands are and the harder they are to pull off. But maybe there's different terms and ways to pull this off too. So there's the Slim Chickens. I think that's an opportunity kind of property. I'm going to circle back to that one. Maybe it won't be there by the time you go looking, but there'll be others, right? So let's look at the next one. The next one is Slim Chickens, Hearst, Texas. We didn't look at where this building came from. Let's Tallahassee. We're still looking at Tallahassee. Street View. Was it Goodwill? Goodwill never goes out of business. That'd be a great tenant to have. There's some chickens right there. There it is. Okay, we were 2 doors over. You got the cursor in the wrong spot. Okay, so let's see. Slim Chickens. If we go, oh, there we go. La Fiesta. What is that? Never been there. 2024 Slim Chickens. 2023, they still got La Fiesta sign, but they're fixing stuff. 2022, it's La Fiesta with available sold. It's going to be the same thing. Some franchisee bought this property right here, sold from these Carlton Dean brokerage people, and rehabbed it into, let's see if we can figure out this rehab. Did they rebuild it or did they rehab it? Oh, they put a awning on the front. It's going to mislead you. Maybe they just redid it. Is it a glass room in the front from the 70s? They got rid of that and and modernized it. It's got the same bones, but they added on a crown around it. And I think they redid the old building. They got rid of a bunch of stuff around it and they modernized the look and made it look much more modern, black and white, fresh looking, like your food's going to be fresh and not picked up off the floor. Clean looking building, right? Get more sales. Okay, so let's go look at the next one. So those are rehab. It wasn't a brand new build. Okay, Patrick Luther. This guy is a salesman of all salesmen here too. Here's the West Coast version of that other guy we were just looking at. Newport Beach, $1 billion listed, $4 billion sold, and have all kinds of QSRs going crazy forever throughout history on his list. Every brand you can think of, probably. He's doing CSVs, CVS pharmacies, $9 and $10 million pharmacies. Why not? Pizza Huts, Ruby Tuesdays, Walgreens, got a whole bunch of them. Dutch Brothers, Vitamin Shop. Okay, so I don't see, it's not like a whole slew of Slim Chickens. There's probably other Slim Chickens in there if I go digging far enough. 8 years remaining, out parcel to Target, Anchorage Center, options to extend. Okay, so this is an older one if they got 8 years remaining. Lease term 17.6. So 8 years remaining, it was like 10 years ago or something they put this one together. Let's see if we can figure this out. Absolute triple net. So again, this is not a ground lease. I haven't seen a single ground lease in any of these properties. It doesn't mean they don't do them. It just, you don't see them on the market. It's not their bread and butter. Net operating income, $209,000. Cap rate 6. They're going for a 6, even though they got a shorter timeline than the others. They're going for a lower cap rate. How long has this been on the market? 124 days. Seems like these guys would know their numbers, and maybe they're salesmen enough that they can sell it at better cap rates than the other guys. Franchisee, 4-unit operator. Slim Chickens, absolute triple net. Landlord responsibilities, none. Sales reporting, yes. Often I ask for sales reporting and lease negotiations, and the tenants say, nobody does that, Luke. Here we go. This franchisee at Slim Chickens is doing sales reporting. So I could quote this one next time in that negotiation. Property specifications, rentable area, 3,600 square foot. 3,600 square foot is the biggest one I've seen yet. No, one was 3,666, but that was a conversion. We'll see if they built this one. This is an older one, maybe 1.1 acres, a little bit bigger land than the others. This is Texas, so maybe they're going for bigger, more seating space or something. Year built 2016. Fee simple land and building ownership. So let's go look in the history of 2016 and see if what happened. Where's my Hearst, Texas? Hearst, Texas. So let's look at Street View 2016, see where this thing came from. And I should have been looking at traffic at all these and the streets and everything. I'm trying to keep it congruent, but I'm not that fast and bright all the time. So there's Target in the past, in the back. Come on, let's get the street so we can get some history. Wells Fargo, Dave's Hot Chicken. There we go. There's Dave's Hot Chicken. They could go take over that other one we were looking at, afford the rent. If you get them on the phone, they don't ever answer my calls. I find awesome locations for them, perfect statistics, nothing. Dave's Hot Chicken, come on, Dave's Hot Chicken. I think they got their mouths full of all kinds of deals. Slim Chickens. So right here, Slim Chickens going for it next to Target. This is the first one we've seen in a shopping center out parcel. Most of them have been retail strip neighborhood row. Houses on the other side. Outback and Jack in the Box. Should go bulldoze these houses and build some more retail. Look at that. There's a big freeway over here. We got Starbucks. In-N-Out Burger. Where are we at? We're in Texas. They got In-N-Out Burger. Heck yeah. Okay, so they're going for it. I was going to, 2016 it? 2016. Slim Chickens. Got to go a little further back. 2015. Oh, it's a parking lot. Okay, so they added it to the parking lot of Target. Somebody got a deal, put it in the parking lot. This is probably going to be shopping center. It's probably not going to be go look up how much they bought this one for. It's not an obvious looking one to go look up the price on. And it's Texas, so I'm not even going to bother. Okay, let's look at the next one. Should have been looking at traffic, but that looked like huge traffic. There's going to be a pile of traffic on that one. All those shopping centers. Somerset, Kentucky. Let's study this one. This is the kind we could probably find costs on. I bet you we can get the costs out of this one. Let's look up traffic and stuff too while we're at it. Some chickens right there. Sugar Shack Donuts next door. T&T Motors, like old gas station conversion. CarQuest Auto Parts. Circle K Gas. Okay, I don't see any major brands right here. It seems to be a lot of the Slim Chickens. So there's a Pizza Hut. They sing their own song when it comes to locations. I'm proud of them for doing that. They're not always following. Okay, Slim Chickens, 82 percentile. This is a good looking one. We got 13 and 12. 24, maybe 25,000 cars a day. It's 20-something thousand cars a day. How many times we come up with the same numbers in these Slim Chickens? I skipped over some of those that have a pile of stuff around them. They're probably 50,000 cars a day, but Highway 27, there we go. That's a long highway. I've had properties on Highway 27. Okay, so Burt Cruel, Clay Smith. I don't know these brokers. Maybe if I started talking to him, I'd remember. Oh, 2 million sold. He's got a Wawa and a Taco Bell. I don't know why I would have ever talked to him before. That's why I don't know him. So let's look at this. See where this property came from. We're going to look at the cost of the property. 27,000 cars a day. Built 1970, renovated in 2019. So it was something. They changed something before. Fee simple ownership. So you get the building and the land. Lease guarantor, HNB Chicken LLC. So this is another franchisee. So tenant responsibilities, roof structure, parking lot. What'd they leave off of that list? Original lease term, 15 years. Term remaining, 11. Increases 2% every year. That's nice. I like 2% a year. That's a good increase in rent. I like that. Options, 5-year options. Okay, so they can stay there for the rest of forever. Oh, this is a low rent. Look at this, 126 annual rent. This is 6.25 cap. So 126 is the lowest one I've seen in the network yet. Let's see what they converted from. A drive-through building or street view. Bojangles. They did that. It's got the same shoulder on the building. The same. That's it. That's got to be it. It's next to the gas station. Yeah, that's got to be it. So they converted Bojangles. Let's see if we can find some old numbers. So Wu Der Chang sold to COP Realty or KOP Realty in 2017 for 700 grand. That sounds like a vacant QSR kind of number. 2017, 700 grand. So somebody bought the vacant 2017. Let's look at Street View. 2018, it's still Bojangles. It's got the lights on. 2008, what the heck is that? Bojangles converted something. Let's see if we can get a different angle. Oh, wow. Okay, here's 2015. All you can eat buffet. There we go. That's the Wu Di Chang name. Then they converted that to a Bojangles. I don't know if they bulldozed. Wow. They did a massive redo into Bojangles sometime between 2016 and 19. And then between 19 and 22, it went to Slim Chickens. Okay, let's go back and look at that. Okay, so Wu Der Chang was all-you-can-eat Chinese, I'm guessing Chinese buffet. And then it went to Cop Realty 2017. Then 19, it was, so the Wu Der Chang probably converted into the other restaurant along the way. And then Cop Realty has it. So $700,000 cost basis. And then now they're trying to go float it back in the markets for 200 plus thousand after converting it into Slim Chickens. This could be some fun numbers. I don't know how much the cost of conversion was and everything, but it's probably the operators that are doing it. Okay, it's the next day, and I found out my video stopped recording somewhere in Independence, Missouri. So I'm going to pick it up where I left off. So I got the Slim Chickens pulled back up. Hopefully they're still in the same order. It seems like they are. Independence, Missouri was the last one on the list, and then we're going to jump into a couple different ways of looking at these. So let's take a look at this one. This one is Independence, Missouri. We got Greg White as the broker. He sounds familiar, but I don't think I've ever done any deals with him. No, I don't see anything in his history. I've never worked with this guy before. Okay, so Chris Morgan. Okay, so we've got, this one's been on the market 250 days, lease term almost 15 years, remaining term 12 years. So it's a couple 2 years old, I'm guessing. Lease expiration, when did the lease start? Let's see, maybe it started after it was built a ways. So asking price about 2.5 million. Cap rate, these guys are going for 7. So he's going for a 7 as well. So a couple people have been going for a 7 cap. A lot of them have been going in the 6s, 1 or 2 in the 5s, but mostly in the 6s, upper 6s to 7% cap rate is what they seem to be asking. So maybe these actually traded a 7, or maybe upper 6s, 7 or 7 and a hair or something. NOI 173. So all these deals we've been looking at, they seem to be in the higher hundreds, lower 200s, like 175 to 225 or something like that kind of range. Parking spaces, 40 parking spaces. That's a good lot of parking. So rent bumps, 1.5% every year, beginning in 2027. Lot size, 0.95 acres. So they've all been right around an acre. I keep saying that. They're all right around an acre. This was built in 2014. Okay, so something else is going on here. Let's look at the street view. So it was built in 2014, but the lease started a couple 2 years ago, and we're in 2025 still when I'm recording this. I'm not looking at street view. I wanted to look at street view. Okay. Oh, jumps into the restaurant. Let's see if we can get out of the restaurant. Slim Chickens. Oh, okay. Maybe we can get them on the freeway. So the freeway is going by. There's a Slim Chickens. Let's see if we can get the bush out of the way. It's that Old Chicago car wash shopping center. So Slim Chickens. Let's see if we can see what's. So just a couple of years ago, before the lease started, it was a Slim Chickens. So this sounds like the same story, still Slim Chickens back before the lease started. So I'm guessing somebody bought the land, built the Slim Chickens, operated the Slim Chickens for a couple of years, did a sale lease back, or they're doing a sale lease back, or maybe they did a sale lease back and whoever bought that is now reselling it a couple of years after they did the sale lease back. That would probably make more sense. Let's see if we can get this to fly in. See if we can get that story and idea to line up with the transactions, recorded transactions. This is part of a shopping center. It's probably a bunch of splits. Oh, I already have it on the screen here. Yeah, it's already on the screen because I had it up before the screen crashed. Okay, so it's split off on its own. Let's see if there's transaction history without going crazy on here. Yeah, there's 24. So somebody probably got it 24, but it's not showing the price. A couple of them. So somebody had it before and they lost it to the bank. Am I seeing that right? Short sale went from Cochise Drive LLC when they get stuck buying land in Cochise County before 2006. They're really in trouble if they did that, or before 2008. After Cochise County was great to buy land in. So 2021, somebody lost it to the bank. These guys bought it by writing down the bank's debt, something, short sale. Ryan Slim got it. And then they got Slim in their name. They're probably the ones that went with Slim Chickens and built the Slim Chickens. And then they sold it, did a sale lease back in 2024. And I'm just missing the numbers. Maybe if I downloaded the deeds and stuff, I could figure it out. But so they did sale lease back, I'm guessing, to this Larry J. Fugate Guy Trust, and that's probably who's selling it right now in the markets. So they're trying to sell it for almost $2.5 million on this 173 rent. And if we look at Street View again, so usually they got 20,000 cars a day or something. And they haven't always been like shopping centers in the back, like a Walmart or a Target. Some of them do. This one's got them across the street. It's got Lowe's, Costco across the freeway, the other side of the freeway. Maybe we could pull up traffic on this one and just look at traffic and neighbors for a second. And I think that would lead me into the next phase. If I do that, I would like to look at not just the ones that are built, that are happening in the market. That tells us what's happening right now. The ones that are coming live, that are going on the market, we can get a lot of data. We can see the kinds of terms they're negotiating and putting together to make these deals happen and what's coming out the other side. But it doesn't tell us what the best locations are. It tells us what's being created. It doesn't mean they're the best. So here's our slim chickens. And eventually we want to look at the best ones, because if we study the best ones and emulate the best ones and find property that's a lot like the best ones and go tell slim chickens, hey, here's your next location. It's just like your best shops. We'll make it really easy for you. Here you go. Though sounds like they'll want to buy it from us instead of leasing or whatever. These people seem to be buy people. Okay, so 44,000, the freeway is pumping, 44,000 on either side. The little street in front of this shopping center that you go down is 12, and let's call it 12 and 12 is 24,000. So again, it's 20 something thousand, but it's not front row like the other ones have been front row, like this thing next door. What is that? They got a bunch of drive-throughs on that one. Car wash. Oh, that makes more sense. Okay. Cheddar Scratch Kitchen. They're doing a bunch. Pizza Ranch. This is like Restaurant Row over here. Got IHOP and Bow Wow, Buffalo Wild Wings. There's the mall, Noodles and Company. There's the Walmart over here. So weird location for a restaurant, in my opinion. It's back around the corner. People really got to know where to go, or they got to be coming from this main event thing. If this main event thing is going off all the time, they'll probably fill up your restaurant. Hit or miss when those things come and go. Okay, but what we can do here is we can get this Slim Chickens and we can get the ranking off of it. Oh, wow, this is a really good one. Heck yeah, 99 percentile Slim Chickens. They sing their own song. So lots of these QSR shops really like to be next to the other QSR shops. Slim Chickens seems to work in places that lots of QSRs wouldn't. Like here, if you put a McDonald's back here, it probably wouldn't be the top McDonald's, but you put a Slim Chickens and it's top Slim Chickens. McDonald's would want to be on that front corner. Okay, so let's look at brand rank. Oh, okay, so I was looking at the wrong rank. Slim Chickens, this is out of category rank. So okay, that's not this location. This location's 84. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong buttons. This is 84 percentile. Still really good location for Slim Chickens. So this is with Minnesota. I want to change this to national. So I want to get all the Slim Chickens, and we're getting 201 locations in this data set. So some of those flyers that we just looked at said they had 205 locations since April of 24. And I'm sure they've been opening more since then. So it's probably 250 or something like that. And so we got 200 out of 250. I'm rounding off and guessing here. We don't have all the locations, but the ones that are databased out in this data set is 201. So out of the 201, one of them comes in really high here. State College, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at them. So these ones that come out really high are usually in an airport or a university or a stadium or something weird that's not like where I'm going to go buy land and get a space for a shop like this. This looks like a university. So I think this one's in a university, Pennsylvania University, I'm guessing. Let's skip that one. Let's try this next one. So number 2 on the list, 109,000 customers a month, which is crazy. Still might be bad data. It might be inside something else that's got a lot of traffic, foot traffic coming and going, people carrying cell phones, and the counters are going nuts, and it's not real data. Let's take a look at it though. This looks like a standalone location. They're doing a pile of business here. Okay, so let's study this thing. So the ones we've looked at, it's a couple lanes of traffic. This is a couple lanes of traffic. This has a turning lane. You're not getting through there. They don't have access to this main road. They're coming through the intersection. They're coming in. They're coming around. They're going to what else is back here. It's not like a Walmart or a Target or a Costco or a something like that, or a major grocery store. There's an Aldi back here, but they're not even right in front of the Aldi. They got some local shopping center with lumber and stuff, and they're in front of that. And it's like people who want to go to Slim Chickens, they go to Slim Chickens. They're drawing their own crowd. Let's look at area visits. This will show us who is operating right in the area, and I got it set to a quarter mile right now. So a quarter mile, it's got that Walmart across the street. Oh, banging, look at that. So the Walmart across the street, 97 percentile Walmart, 179,000 customers a month going to that Walmart. So this area has customers pumping through it. This is one of the reasons why the Slim Chickens is off the charts and it's going great, because everybody else is. The Kroger, 56,000 people a month going to Kroger. That's almost 2,000 a day. Aldi, 40,000. That's what is that? 1,400 customers a day or something, if I can do math. And even Valvoline, oil change place, is going off. Let's get some restaurants in here. Burger King, 98 percentile. Arby's, 97. Subway, 91. Okay, so when you got a sea of good shops in there, who's not doing good? Five Below, the low spend stores, GameStop. So a lot of the shops that are right around here are doing amazing, like in their respective networks. As if I blew up the circle more, it'd probably be more like that. So a lot of people are shopping in this area in Troy, Missouri. And this seems to be a great place for Slim Chickens to do a pile of business. See if they've always been doing that. They kicked up here the last month or two. They really jumped up and visits, get some crazy numbers on there. Let's look at demographics. 3,000 people in a mile. There's not so many people around here. But look at the age, 38. It's a little bit young. 70,000. I've seen that on a lot of these Slim Chickens. They seem to be a little bit young. Some of them 35, 36, like the little bit younger parts of town. Some of the Florida ones in the 40s, but I think they're maybe slightly targeting a little bit younger areas. Okay, so the next one, the third one on the list, is in Bradenton, Florida. That's going to be higher income, right? Probably older too. So Bradenton, Florida, let's look at the area. McDonald's going off, 100 percentile McDonald's, 200 feet away. So the McDonald's is killing it. McDonald's is doing like over 3,000 customers a day. And then Panda Express is doing almost 1,500 customers a day. That is a lot of people going to Panda Express. Dunkin's doing over 1,000 a day. Publix supermarket's not doing so amazingly well here. It's 1,000 people a day. For supermarket, still pretty awesome, but in Publix network, it's like middle of the pile. Yeah, so they're right up close to an awesome McDonald's, an awesome Salad Works, an amazing Panda Express. So they're swimming with good neighbors. Let's look at traffic. They've got the street out front. They're doing like just over 20,000 cars a day. Demographics, a little over 5,000 people in the 1 mile. Yeah, 111,000 in the household incomes. Better income. Median age is older. 44 median age is Florida. We're getting older. Oh, I wanted to look at the map on that one. Oh, there's McDonald's. So it's a new McDonald's. New McDonald's, new Panda Express. Looks like a relatively new Slim Chickens. I'm guessing this went on dirt and Publix. So they put Publix in and then went for it. Looks like they're filling in all directions. Bradenton, Florida's going for it. So they've got a shopping center behind them on this one. Okay, next one, Columbia, South Carolina. And these rankings change. You get different data. You can customize the data. You can source more from here or from there. It's not exacto precise, but it gives you an idea of what's going on. Okay, so let's look at the area. The area on this one here's Popeye's Chicken. Popeye's Chicken is doing pretty well. They're doing a little over 1,000 customers a day. Starbucks is doing pretty well. They're doing like 800 customers a day or something like that. The others are mixed. It's not like everybody's flying off the shelf. Panda Express, bottom third or right on the hub between bottom third and top third or middle third on the shoulder of going off into nowhere. Chipotle, 28 percentile. So some of these aren't doing so well. But there's some customers in the area. And for whatever reason, the Slim Chickens is doing it. Let's look at traffic. This looks like a bunch of shops here. So this is more traffic. 20 and 20 is like 40,000 cars a day. This looks like a new Slim Chickens. Chipotle across the street. Freddy's across the street. Volkswagen, Acura. So they got some car dealers here because there's enough traffic. Can you start supporting car dealers? What is this one? Logistics? No. Home Depot? No. I don't know what that is. That's a big roof. They got a bunch of lumber or something out back. I don't know. Some kind of shipping distribution center. Okay, so there's Starbucks probably in the grocery store. Yeah, there's a Kroger across the street. Looks like somebody wants to fill in some more, but they haven't got there yet in this neighborhood. And then we look at traffic? Do we look at demographics? So I'm looking at the wrong one. I wanted to look at demographics on this one. This is the Columbia, South Carolina, not the Independence, Missouri one we started with. It's the demographics. 36 median age. This is a little bit younger. $70,000 median household income. Okay, so what's the next one? Memphis, Tennessee. So I'm looking for similarities. I'm looking for neighbors that are often next door. I'm looking for traffic patterns that are similar. I'm looking for, are they always out in front of Walmart? Are they always out in front of Target? Are they always next to Chick-fil-A? Are they always next to McDonald's? If they're always next to a McDonald's, is it always the top 5 percentile McDonald's? Is it always if I can find a correlation like that, we can predict where shops should go, and we could go get those properties and hand them to Slim Chickens developers, franchisees, make it easy. And if it works for Slim Chickens, it probably works for the others. It probably works for there's a bunch of other chicken shops. So it's not just Slim Chickens. We could do it for a whole bunch of them. Okay, so this one is Memphis, Tennessee, and they're doing a bunch of business here in Memphis. Good on you. Memphis always has a bunch of good restaurants going on. And lower rent. It's really low rent district, usually low land prices and stuff. So Memphis got Auntie Anne's, which is like in the mall, I would guess. McAllister's Deli right there, Buffalo Wild Wings, Chicken Salad Chick, Olive Garden, all doing well. Burger King doing okay. Hooters still in business. Okay, they're doing okay. Bunch of other shops down here. A lot of these sound like we need to look at the map. There's a lot of shops here. This is a mall or something going on around here. Yeah. So there's a mall over here, or what used to be one. Seems like it's still going. Still got Macy's. I don't know. And then there's just a lot of shops around here. So they've got a lot of shops. Let's look at car traffic. Probably a bunch of traffic. Yeah, 40,000 cars a day basically going by in front of here. So they've got a lot of traffic and a lot of shops. And demographics are probably going to be low Memphis. 40, basic American average age, 4,000 people in 1 mile. It's not super amount of people. 79,000 median household income. That's higher than I thought it would be. Parts of Memphis can get really low, but parts are better, right? Just like any town, it's always got the better side of town. This seems to be the shopping side of town. It got Walmart, Sam's Club, Lowe's, the mall. They found a good location. Next one, Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay, let's look at who's happening around here. So Slim Chickens. Oh, it's a bunch of bad numbers around here. Slim Chickens is doing really well. Kroger's doing pretty bad. Starbucks is doing pretty well. It's got the same address as the Kroger, though. I don't know if you can see it. It might be too small. It's the same address as the Kroger. Sweet Bee might be in the parking lot. Here's another one. Same address as the Kroger. There might be one in the parking lot and one inside the Kroger or something like that. 2 Starbucks. I don't know. Why this one is doing so well, because the neighbors all seem to be in the toilet. For whatever reason, Slim Chickens is standing out and doing strong here. The market likes a chicken, and they're not going to the other shops. They don't have a whole bunch of other shops. There's Chewy's. We didn't get numbers off of Chewy's. How many? 20-ish thousand customers a day on that Chewy's. It's right next to them. And Slim Chickens is getting like double that, right? Triple that. So the Chewy's next door is getting like 20,000 customers a day, and we're almost getting 70. This is double, more than triple and then some. It's pretty amazing. They're kicking the neighbor's butt. We got Costco over here. So for Whataburger, Taco Bell. Okay, let's compare them to Whataburger. How many customers is Whataburger getting over here? 5,000? This is a really lame Whataburger. For whatever reason, Slim Chickens is doing really well here, and the other shops are not doing the business that Slim Chickens is doing at all. So good on you, Slim Chickens. Maybe they've got some really awesome customer service, or I don't know. They're doing something special here. So they're out in front of Kroger. They're in front of the grocery store, and they got a double drive-through, double stack, merges together, goes. This looks like a nice shop. This looks like a smaller one than the other ones that we've been seeing. Let's look at the next Slim Chickens. So this is in Celebration, Florida. Let's take a look at the map on this one. Oh, we got lost. I think this might be a bad data set. Let's skip this one. They probably built one out here on the side or something. It's counting all the Publix traffic. It's not, I don't think it's in the right location. It might be one of these. This is a bad piece of data. Let's skip this one. Okay, so this one is South Haven, Mississippi. Let's look at the map on this one. Make sure it's in the right place. Okay, it looks like they found the location. Looks like they're building a hotel behind it. Central Barbecue to the north, Bank to the south. Looks like they're trying to create a little mini old-fashioned downtown. Xb's, McDonald's, Whataburger. Okay, let's see what the neighbors are doing. Let's see what I'm curious about that Zaxby's because that's another chicken selling shop. Zaxby's, bang, 77%, 25, almost 26,000 customers a month. That's going to be just under 1,000 customers a day. And we're doing on this location on the Slim Chickens, we're at 50,000 customers a day. Or sorry, 50,000 customers a month. That's like almost double, close to double. I wonder if that ratio holds out through if we kept going down the pipe. Zaxby's, let me try some perplexity. So let me do that again. At the beginning of this call, we asked what is the average unit sales of Slim Chickens? And it was like 3.5 million, right? Oh, come on. How are you going to get prude on me? 2023 and later reports suggesting higher numbers like 3.86 for top performing group 1 stores. Oh, okay. So Slim Chickens average unit was reported around 2.4 to 3.8 million with figures like 2.4 cited in 2023. So you get different data sets from different places, right? Later reports, top locations are in the threes. Oh, they had a 2025 lawsuit alleged potential inflation of sales figures. Though Slim Chickens denies these claims. Somebody opened a shop today. Why don't we get this sales that like that? Okay, what's the average unit sales of Zaxby's? 2.7 to 2.8 million. So they might be in par with each other. Maybe Slim Chickens is selling more, maybe not. But if we go down the pipe, that 3.5 number I was seeing in the earlier reports, which might not be true, would line up with this example we just looked at of how much more sales Slim Chickens is doing next to the Zaxby's when they're right there next to each other in the same market. But if we went and we looked at a whole bunch of Slim Chickens and then the neighboring Zaxby's or the neighboring Popeyes or the neighboring ones, right now we're looking at the high-end Slim Chicken. So of course it's going to be skewed off to the best of them, but still, like, they're out selling Zaxby's and the Zaxby's is just right down the street. So we're just looking at, let's open that one again. So we were looking at the neighbors. We were looking at, this is the one with Zaxby's right up the street. Yeah, Zaxby's up the street. And then there was Whataburger and others there. Maybe I got to go a little more. Let's try 0.5 half-mile spread on these guys. Chick-fil-A, 0.4 miles away, 91%. It's another chicken restaurant going off in the area. Zaxby's, 77%. Okay, let's look at another one. So now I want to see, I'm wondering if that's a correlation we could run with, is looking at other chicken restaurants in the area. We looked at Troy, Columbia, Bradenton, Pearland, Texas. Did we look at that one? I don't think we looked at this one. So Pearland, Texas is coming up in there as a really high one. And there seems to be a bunch of shops around here and a bunch of traffic. And let's see what's going on. There's a bunch of different shops. So you just put the location in front of or in the middle of everybody else, and of course it sells, especially when all these neighbors are going. Taco Cabana, Academy Sports, McDonald's, Popeyes Louisiana Chicken. So here's another chicken one. Popeyes 33. So they're doing over 1,000 customers a day. And then so they're next to Popeyes, or Popeyes is right around there. How far is Popeyes? 0.2 miles away. So they're pretty darn close to a nice Popeyes. And this particular one is like that chart. 76,000 customers. It looks like they just opened in 2011 and then the customers started going and maybe they did some marketing or something. They got it going here recently. 76,000. That's double and a half what the Popeyes is doing. Good going. Good job, Slim Chickens. Okay, let's look at Montgomery Boulevard in Albuquerque. I don't think we looked at that one yet. Let's look at the area. I don't see any of the chicken shops that we're looking for. Let's blow it up to half mile. There's a Target near there. It's this grocery store, Natural Grocers. 2,000 people a day going to this grocery store I'd never heard of. McDonald's, Taco Cabana, Buffalo Wild Wings, Starbucks. It's just mixed, all kinds of numbers all over the place. A lot of these are higher. Even Pizza Hut's doing well, and some of them are doing poor. Numbers are all over the place, but they got some shops up here at the top doing more than 2,000 customers a day, like the Target and the natural grocery stores. Then you get down to restaurants like McDonald's doing just over 1,000 customers a day, and Taco Cabana almost 1,000. So there's people shopping in the area, and this particular Slim Chickens is killing it. They're just rocking and rolling. These guys are doing 65,000 customers a month. That's more than 2,000 customers a day. I wonder if that data is good. So maybe it's hewed off somehow. It sounds too good to be true. Let's look at, there's just a ton of traffic here. 30,000 cars a day. Let's look at demographics. 16,000 people in a mile. So there's a good pile of people here. 68,000 median income. It's not like crazy high or low. It's just normalish stuff. What's the age? 41. It's like super average America age. Okay, Russellville, Arkansas. They're in their home state. Let's look at the map in this one first. No, we're in a college. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm not going to look at the college one. Tupelo, Mississippi. Okay, we're at a shopping center. Looks like they carved off a piece of the parking lot. Just opened this thing. It's not even on the maps yet. Got the mall across the street. Let's look at what is going on around here. We probably got a bunch of mall kinds of number stores and names and shops, but let's see. Walmart, over 200,000 people a month going to Walmart. So there's a good Walmart as a neighbor, bunch of other neighbors doing awesome numbers. McDonald's doing just over 1,000 customers a day. Raising Cane's, there's another chicken shop doing 36,000 customers a month. That's just over 1,000 customers a day. Raising Cane's is doing more business than McDonald's. Heck yeah, Raising Cane's. And then you go put Slim Chickens in there and it blows them out of the water. Panda Express doing good numbers. We got good Panda, good McDonald's, good Raising Cane's. This particular one, it's just the same thing over and over. Consistent performer, not growing up and flying away or dying off. 55,000 customers a month. That's almost 2,000 a day, 1,900 a day or something. Okay, let's look at, see if we can get some more of these open. So this is the best one in Kentucky. This university? No, this retail corridor. Okay, but it's weird how often do you have these awesome locations without having a major traffic driver in the back, like the grocery store, the Target or the Walmart or something like that. So they got a whole bunch of retail going on up here. It's probably doing well, and then they've got some down here on the way out to the freeway, and they decide to build here on the corner. They got some land in between. Numbers are going off. Popeye's Chicken, look at that, 33,000. That's just over 1,000 customers a day going to the Popeye's Chicken. If everyone's going to that Popeye's Chicken, you put in the Slim Chickens, and then you get 63,000 customers. Did I say a day? A month. There's 63,000 a month. Popeye's Chicken doing just over 1,000 a day, and then Slim Chickens doing like 2,000 a day. Heck yeah, they doubling the traffic of that Popeyes, wherever Popeyes is, right here in the area somewhere. Cheddar Scratch Kitchen. There's the McDonald's. Popeyes is going to be around here somewhere. So what are we learning? I could go do this all day long, but I want to get down to it. I think these locations are high traffic. They like high traffic, like 20s seems to work. Sometimes you get up into the 40s, 50s, 60s when there's a lot of shops going on in the area, and you put them in the middle of a whole bunch of other shops, so they do well. You put them in areas where some other chicken shops are, like Raising Cane's or Popeyes or Zaxby's, and they're doing 1,000 customers a day at those kinds of shops. These guys might be able to do 2,000 customers a day. If we go down the pipeline of all the Slim Chickens, I'm sure there's some of them that don't do that, but some of them are. And those ones that are should be emulated, and we should look at what they're doing. Why are they doing so well? Is it advertising? Is it service? Is it presentation? Is it display? Is it access? What is it? They're doing something. They're getting people's attention. People are coming back. It's not just the opening ceremony of the projects. Some of these have been going on for years, doing really awesome numbers. I'm sure there's exceptions to it. If we go look at the bad ones, what's going on there? Maybe we should look at some of those and see what makes a bad location. Let's look down here at the bottom. Geez, I got 3 pages. Maybe I get to the second page because it's 201. It's like 100 per page. And okay, let me see if I can do this again. Let's do it another way. Let's do the second page. So if we got down to the 172, man, okay, so we're at The Walking Dead. These ones should go out of business, or they really need some help. Something's wrong. Might be operations, might not be location specific, but let's see if there's some obvious location problems on these. Okay, so this one's getting 2,000 visits a month, not a day, like a month. Might not be good data. On the low end, it's not always good data. So they're just out in front of a Lowe's. Does Lowe's usually have enough drive to run a restaurant? Not so much in my opinion, but maybe. It's better than nothing. And you're out in the main street anyway. Let's look at demographics. Same kinds of numbers we see in the other places. 30,000 cars a day in the front. Let's look at another one. Okay, this one is in Humble, Texas. And I think these are going to be bad data locations. So they're next to a gas station. That just looks like a lot of dirt in the area. But they've got apartments around it and houses as I zoom out. You got the mall and Home Depot and stuff going down over here. But it looks like there's traffic on this road too. And they've got a median. Maybe here's the access. Maybe go access through the Valero and get into it that way. I don't know. It's around you. You don't have direct access. These guys can turn in and then to get out and go through the light and get out. I don't know. It works. Let's look at some more of them. See if we see what the obvious problems are. Ridgeland, Mississippi. So I get this and it comes up with this. I think there's something going on with this data here. Yeah, so I'm getting older numbers, newer numbers. Data's weird. Like maybe they closed for resurfacing or something. These numbers aren't lining up with the rankings. Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Panda Express. Let's look at who's happening in the area. So here you got a lower Chick-fil-A, lower ranking Chick-fil-A, and then the shop doesn't do so well. Any other chicken shops around here? Let's look at a couple more of these. So this one's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You got numbers all over the place. This isn't, oh my gosh, everything's working. This is a kind of property price skip out of the gate. So this one is Fayetteville, Arkansas. Let's see what the numbers are in this area. Raising Cane's is doing well. 300 feet from here. So it might be a place that would work for some chickens. Popeyes is middle of the pile. Panda Express is middle of the pile. KFC is dragging. Zaxby's is dragging. So you got KFC and Zaxby's not doing so well. And Raising Cane's doing well. So it's not like all the chicken shops are doing amazing. You just got one of them that's doing amazing. The Raising Cane's, and the rest are ho-hum to dragging. It's not so clear and obvious, but it's happening. So we have looked at slim chickens in a lot of different ways. There's a lot more ways we can look at them, but I think this is a good primer in reverse engineering a brand. I'm a land guy. I'm passionate about land, and I like figuring out properties and who should use them. And the more of these different brands are reverse engineer, the more I learn different people that could use my land. And so hopefully you enjoyed this, you like this, you have questions, feel free to throw questions in the comment section of this video. Better yet, there's a link in the description of this video. It'll take you back to a little website we set up that is a community of like-minded people that like to share information about properties like these. We like to share, contrast, and look at different angles. How can we figure these out? How can we make them work? And lots of times we work together in making the properties happen. I've got a bunch of different instructional videos there or teaching videos there you can go make fun of and ask questions and stuff too. And if you are interested in that and you go down the rabbit hole and watch a bunch of those videos and things and like these kinds of properties, like working on these kinds of properties, there's another community above and beyond the paid version of the free community that I'll walk you through doing these kinds of deals, taking a piece of land and going and presenting it, pitching it to somebody like Slim Chickens and lots of other brands like them. And we can do deals with these brands. We could sell it to them. We can ground lease it to them. We could do build to suit deals. We can do all kinds of different ways of taking vacant land or vacant building and adding value by adding a tenant to it. There's a lot of different investors that'll take them off our hands as soon as we put those brands and properties together, and we can pass them on or we could keep them. There's lots of different versions of figuring these properties out, a lot more than I know about, but a couple of the versions that I know about, I teach and share and help you do. And if you're interested in that, feel free to go down that rabbit hole. This is a neat looking brand. I like this one. I thought I would find ground leases. Maybe I was hoping more than I thought I would find ground leases in the ones that are up for sale. I don't see these guys doing ground leases like they take my land and they go build their shop on it and I can go sell it later on when it's up and running and flow and rent out into the future, which is good for them. They're doing sale leasebacks. They're buying the land. They're getting their hands on the land. They're getting it one way or another and they're building the shop. They're making it happen. They probably go get construction loans or use the money from their other deals, build the shop, get it up and going, get it paying rent, or not paying rent, get it operating, and then they make up a rent scale that they're comfortable with depending on the operations of the shop and go sell that in the market. And I think they could sell that in the markets for more than they paid to build the shop and buy the land when they're doing it right, and use that money to go do another one. They could buy another piece of property, build another shop, and create another revenue stream out of the operations. And then the operations pay for rent on the property from there instead of owning the property free and clear. And they increase their wealth, they increase their business, they increase their network of locations that they've got from 1 to 2 to 5 to 10 to 20. And in that way, Slim Chickens is growing. So they've got multiple franchisees. A lot of these different listings we looked at had different franchisees. Some were corporate, some, I think one in there was corporate and franchisee guaranteed. But a lot of them were franchisee guaranteed. So that they name a bunch of the different franchisees in the public listings or the listings that are out there right now, and others that'll come through the markets in the future and have in the past. And you can track down a bunch of the different franchisees that way and present new shops to them and new locations, new vacant building or vacant land that is in the middle of a bunch of shopping, or it could be one of those that's in front of a grocery store. But a lot more of these locations were not in front of the grocery store or in front of Target or Walmart or Costco or something like that. They were on the retail corridor. A lot of them had another chicken shop in the area that was doing pretty well, and then some chickens would do even better. That's an amazing feat to be doing that in the chicken wars, if you will, of QSR, selling chicken. And they're selling a lot of it. They've got great sales, good numbers allow them to chew up more real estate. I think we'll see a lot more Slim Chickens. Some of the presentations I saw from different salesmen on there, they were talking about like over 1,000 different Slim Chickens under development, different phases of development. Like they've got contracts, they're buying land, or they're working in it, they're building, they're working on permitting, or whatever phases of development to make more Slim Chickens out in the future. So we're 200 something locations now. And they've got 1,000 of them in the pipeline. I don't think 1,000 of them will make it all the way, but some of those will. It's going to be more than 200. They're going to double their number of locations. By the time you go get a property and give it to Slim Chickens, they're going to have more locations. And I think it'll just keep growing and growing, as well as some of these other chicken brands as well. And I think that's a beautiful thing. That's opportunity in the marketplace when real estate is happening in lots of different ways. This is a niche. It's an area that has a lot of room to run going forward. Yeah, so I'm seeing one on the screen here. Look at that. Slim Chickens, Better Buzz and Slim Chickens. Now we're talking. So it's the site next to them. So the developers next door are putting Slim Chickens and Better Buzz. Better Buzz is a coffee shop that's got locations near me. Where is this? This is Las Vegas. Okay, Better Buzz is growing into the Las Vegas market. Las Vegas, Arizona, but they're coming out of Southern California. So Slim Chickens, a lot of other videos and things I work on coffee shops. So that one is just catching my attention. So again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Luke Smith, ruralvacantland.com. Feel free to hit that link in the description below to go back into a little community and learn more about doing these kinds of deals. Please subscribe for more videos like this. I hope to make more videos like this about other brands. And I think if we stack up numerous brands over time, I've made lots of videos like this for different audiences, but not so much for public. We can learn a lot more about how to use this real estate, high traffic and retail kinds of real estate, and who the users are, could be, and mixing them together. We can mix multiple ones together to make larger properties or other ones go and get the numbers to work. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.